The Ascendor family of packs from Rab have been designed to be an all-round mountain pack, whether that be big days on the hill, climbing, scrambling, or even as a summit pack. Stick around to see our thoughts on them and see if they might be the right packs for you. Now the Ascendor comes in both a 35 litre and a 45 litre. Apart from the 10 litre capacity difference, all of the features are exactly the same across their range. So I'll be switching between these two when I'm talking about different features where relevant. But just know that the only difference between them is that the 45 has 10 litres of extra capacity. So a little bit more suited to those bigger winter mountain days or when you need to carry more kit. If you need to be a little bit lighter, a little bit more agile, you drop to the 35 litre, or Rab also stocks in their range a 27 litre, which drops the lid in favour of a zip top opening style. Now the Ascendors are primarily a climbing style pack, so they are a little bit more pared back compared to some other packs in the market, and they are also more strippable than some other packs that will be in Rab's mainline range. Now Rab really see these packs being used out on the mountain in environments where you're likely going to be using a helmet, a harness, carrying ropes, so a lot of the features do lend themselves to that. And that's the same across the packs in both the dark pollen colour that we've got here and in the black colour that's hanging up behind me there. Those are the two colours that are available in both the 35 and 45 in both the small medium back length and the medium large back length. Now those back lengths are fixed, so it's important to make sure you select the right size at the point of purchase, because then your only other adjustment is in the overall length of the shoulder straps. So if you are between back lengths, it might be worth heading to a retailer to try on just to make sure you get the right fit. So let's get stuck into some of the features and we'll see what you think of it. Now the fabric that Rab use on both of the Ascendors is a 210 denier Robic ripstop recycled nylon with a tri-shield water repellent, snow repellent coating on the outside, and that is all PFAS free. So the idea of this pack is that it will shed off snow quite nicely and also shed off a good amount of rain, and that's something that we were able to put to the test when we took them out along with some of the Latoc shells on a recent trip up to the Lake District. These packs are not waterproof, but they are highly weather resistant. Along with that, from a snow shedding point of view, the back panel, which is a non-absorbent foam panel. So if snow does get between you and the pack, if it's snowing down and it's sort of nestling behind you, it doesn't absorb into the back panel, so you have good comfort there. On the comfort front, this pack is very comfortable. You've got a padded hip belt and shoulder carry harness and the foam back panel. Along with the back panel, there is also a HDPE removable back support in the pack here. So for those of you that prefer a pack that's a little bit lighter, a little bit less structured, or if you're traveling with this pack, it is a bit of a faff, but you can remove that internal support so that you can take it out and have a pack that is a little bit softer, a little bit lighter, but carry comfort will take a little bit of a hit there. And in practice, these packs are still both on the lighter end of the spectrum. So coming in, I think the 45 comes in at around 1.3 kilos. I will pop the exact weights up on screen, and the 35 comes in about 1.1 kilo. So by no means are they heavy packs to begin with, but there are ways that you can strip weight out of these packs, which is another feature that lends itself to them being used as a summit pack or a lighter weight alpine pack, as well as a more general purpose mountaineering pack. Moving on to some of the other features, now that we've talked about the construction of the pack a little bit. They are both lid accessible packs, and the lid is fully removable. You have buckles on the back and on the front. There is a retention tether you have to undo here, but the pack lid itself is completely removable. And then in place of that, you do still have a rope compression strap over the top with a retention flap here. So you can do rope carry with this quite nicely with the pack, either under the lid or also without the lid attached, because you have these 4 compression straps on the side that compress over a rope. You also use those for the A-frame ski carry. The drawstring top is nice and easy to open. You get nice big pulls on it, so you can use it if you are using it with gloves or mitts in more of a skimo environment or a mountaineering environment. Just know that all of the hardware is nicely glove accessible. You get a nice lighter weight pack that's a little bit more stripped back. And strippability is another feature of this pack when you're looking at the hip belt. So the hip belt on this pack is fully featured. you have one zipped pocket. On the other side, you have a gear loop for carrying any essential gear that you might need. But if you don't want the hip belt on, and you don't just want to reverse the hip belt and run it through the ice axe carry on the front, which is what I'll usually do with most packs, this hip belt is fully removable. Before you start your mountain day, you can totally strip this. So take the hip belt off, take the lid off it, and you can take out that HDPE support on the inside, so you can make this pack considerably lighter and also smaller. So if you are using it for quick summit missions where you need to be as light and agile as possible, you can strip these packs down significantly, which is a nice touch. Other features of the pack, it is worth mentioning that on the lid as well, you do have a zip open pocket, and on the underside of the lid, emergency instructions that are a carryover from Low Alpine, which is Rab's sister brand. They're both under Equip Outdoor. So you see similar instructions here on Low Alpine packs as well. Now, if you are stripping the lid off this pack, the compression strap points on the front are girth hitched on. So you can remove these from these points here and remove the compression straps so they're not just dangling. So Rab have thought about this with this pack. It is nicely featured. Not so nicely when I'm trying to fumble it on camera, but you can fully strip both sides, because they are both larks footed on, girth hitched, whatever you prefer to call it, so that you can have a very clean pack. The other two compression straps on both sides are not removable, so they remain with the pack, which is great for volume adjustment in the pack when you don't have the ability to compress down with the lid as much. I will move over to the other Ascendor, so the 45 for this one, but all of the features, as I've said before, are exactly the same between the two. So the rope carry option that you can see here is secured underneath the lid, so your rope is really nicely secured. Rab do also say that you can run rope from the inside of the pack, which is where another feature comes into play. So there is a side zip access on the pack, which is a feature I love, by the way. Should be on all alpine packs, and honestly most outdoor rucksacks I think would benefit from having a side zip access, just for easier accessibility. And for mountain packs, it makes much more sense, so you have access to things inside the pack without having to fully open the lid and dig down, so your pack admin gets a lot easier. This is a feature I use so often if I have a water bottle or I need to get to crampons, things that I don't need access to immediately. As long as I know where I've packed them in the pack, I can just unzip, reach in and grab them. But you can also use this feature to run rope from the inside of your pack if you need to. And the fact that Rab have used a two-way zip on this, it's just such a good idea, because you can place the zip exactly where you need it to where your water bottle is. You can access it from the top or the bottom as long as you secure the zips, and then they're out of line of these compression straps. Sometimes if you have a single-way zip and it's around the compression strap, you can get a little bit caught up if you're in a bit of a hurry and end up faffing, having to loosen off compression straps. Equally, if you're carrying a rope, you still have full access to it because you need to have these compression straps closed. So you have access to the zip so that you can open it nice and easily that way. Again, using the 45 as an example for this pack is fully ice axe compatible, so you have two axe carry points on it, and metal hardware to secure the axes in, along with upper compression straps up here. You do also have daisy chains running down this pack for additional storage if you need to. So if you would prefer to keep your crampons on the outside, you can lash them to the outside. You could put a helmet carrier on the outside here. It's just a nice feature that blends into the pack otherwise that you don't really notice. Now there are a couple of other features which I'm just going to spin this pack around for because it's a little bit easier to demonstrate them. So this pack, if you're not going to be using a water bottle, because if you're climbing you might not have as easy access to the inside of the pack, there are no external bottle pockets here. Rab have thought of that. It is hydration compatible. It'll take up to a 3-litre bladder in this. All of these packs are enabled with Reco, so they have a passive reflector built into all of the packs, something that also carries over into the Latok range as well. So everything in Rab's Latok Gore-Tex family also now features Reco reflector technology. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about Reco, we do have a blog on the subject, which I'll pop a link up to on screen now. Now the other thing to mention is the harness system on this pack. And unlike some lighter weight packs on the market that will be as pared back and minimal as possible, essentially just having fixed straps that you can adjust the length of, and a very minimal hip belt that may just be webbing or no hip belt at all. Rab have decided to include a little bit more of a comprehensive belt system on this pack. So you do have load lifters for pulling the pack in to be a little bit more secure, a little bit more comfortable. So you have that little range of adjustment. So if you're carrying different loads across the day, that's a nice point of adjustment. And you have padded hip fins and padded shoulder straps, which are pretty comfortable. As I said earlier, you can strip out and remove that hip belt if you choose to. We think Rab have come up with quite a compelling offering with the Ascendor 45 and the Ascendor 35 packs. They're a great all-round mountain pack, regardless of whether you're using it for scrambling, just big days on the hill, or whether you are pushing into the rounds of alpinism, winter mountaineering, or ski mountaineering. They're durable, weather resistant, and feature rich. If there's anything more that you'd like to learn about the Ascendor packs, or if you'd like to check out our video on the Trekitt family, that will be linked down in the description. But if there's any questions you have on the Ascendor range, anything Rab, please do pop them in the comments down below and we will get back to you. We'll see you in the next one.